Hello, it's Lawyer Greg, the elder law guy, Greg McIntyre, talking about my book, Saving the Farm, a practical guide to the legal needs of aging in America, and this is our chapter series. Our chapter series discusses a chapter out of the book.
That's right.
So what chapter are we on today, Hayden?
We're going to do Chapter 2, Foundations of Elder Law Planning.
Chapter 2. Okay. Okay. So if I wanted to go to Chapter 2, Foundations of Elder Law Planning, I would go to the expanded table of contents, which let me drill down to a chapter or a subsection of the chapter. For instance, if I wanted to look at, exactly what an executor was, I could go to that part. Or if wills were necessary, I could go to that part of Chapter 2. Or to talk about general, durable, or healthcare powers of attorney, I could go to that part, right? So I'm going to go to Chapter 2 here.
There are a lot of things in here I don't think people would expect to find too.
You think so? In Chapter 2?
Well, you even have an interview with a funeral home director and talk about the pre-need funeral planning. And I'm kind of going from the back to the top because I started at the bottom of the page. Right there?
Yeah, at the end.
And there are many interviews in the book that you've had with various people.
I do have a number of interviews in the
totally
book
devoted to
that are experts in their area talking about different things that have to do with aging in America and things that families need to know and families of seniors need to know, right? So, thank you. You're right. We have lots of interviews. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to take the lead on this one? Chapter 2.
I want to take the lead.
Foundations of Elder Law Planning.
Yes.
If the anecdote about my grandfather teaches you anything, it's that planning is crucial. The steps you take right now to ensure that you and your family hold on to the hard-earned money and assets will only benefit you and your loved ones in the future. I therefore dedicate this chapter to methods of planning and preparation. This includes the documents and people vital in your quest to save the farm and all your legacies that come with it. These components include what I consider the foundations or pillars of elder law planning. The first pillar is the general, durable power of attorney, one of the most important documents you can ever have. And the second pillar is the healthcare power of attorney. And wills, such as a living will, is the third part, is the third pillar.
The will that isn't a will?
And yeah, it's not. It's a declaration for desire for a natural death. Really, the fourth pillar would be a will. Okay? So we'll start with a general durable power of attorney. All right? A general durable power of attorney. Let's break that down. It's general in that it allows you to take care of any general business, financial, business-wise, or legal matters, or applications for Medicaid, for long-term care planning, for governmental benefits. Right?
That's right.
There's things that might need to be done with planning, like deed protection, or recharacterizing some assets that might need to be done for Medicaid planning, or might need to be done for veterans aid attention and attendance. Veterans aid attendance. I need some attention. Veterans aid and attendance pension benefits. Those, the power of attorney would be important in recharacterizing assets there, both financial assets, stocks, bonds, securities, IRAs, 401ks, bank accounts, or deed planning.
Explain what recharacterization is and why it's needed. I think that's...
Well, so I'll just say this, okay, that, if my wife wanted to change the cell phone bill, she would have to have access to that account.
Yes.
And because I set it up, Verizon won't talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine trying to recharacterize or reposition a 401k or retitle a property to put a ladybird deed protection on it for you and your husband. That would be recharacterizing the asset to still keep you in control of the asset and for that money to be there and that property to be there for that senior, even the one who needs care. By a veterans benefit we activate or by a Medicaid benefit that pays for long-term care. But it also protects that asset under the rules of Medicaid or under VA.
Well,
that's what we do. And without the power of attorney, you're dead in the water. You're stuck. You can't do anything to protect those assets. So this is one of the most important things you could ever have is the general durable power of attorney.
It is. We had a case that was done.
Well, we can't talk about our cases.
I'm not talking about a person.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a situation.
Oh.
No, I would never.
Yeah.
In which there was no general durable power of attorney.
Right.
The wife was incapable of making her own decisions.
Sure.
And there was something that needed to be done that everyone knew was right for her,
Sure.
right for her husband, right for her family, and nothing could be done.
We have had situations. That's true. That's true. We have had situations. It's a good point.
Heartbreaking.
That are heartbreaking.
Yes.
Right.
And I have literally sat there and cried.
That bring tears to your eyes.
And a general durable power of attorney is, I guess, the most
Sorry, I
important
was just making sure we weren't going to talk about a case.
Oh, I know. I'm a good person to remind
All right.
about anything.
Okay.
But that is like the end of the game.
Right.
In between, you have a lot of decisions that have to be made before someone gets to the point of passing.
Sure.
And when they can't do it themselves, and you'll talk a little bit about the durability clause, I'm sure. But this is something that I think certainly is a huge part of elder law, but I also think it carries over into it. Is there such a thing as semi-elder law when you've got couples with children who need to have these things set up?
You know, that's a good point. Even young couples need their foundational documents in place.
And we do a lot.
It's so important. Yeah. A lot of times, I'll plan for parents and then the children will hire me also to do that planning.
And families with special needs children is really
special needs,
extremely important.
Yeah, but that's getting into trust and that type of planning, right?
Yeah.
It is important.
And you'll be talking more about more complicated things as we go on,
Sure.
and things like the ladybird deed. You know, that's not in this chapter, and you'll touch on it in a future.
Different chapter.
Yeah.
So healthcare power of attorney.
So just kind of hang with us. We'll get there.
Yeah. So healthcare power of attorney is what I say is the next foundational pillar of elder law. And a healthcare power of attorney is where you pick. Oh, let me touch on something too with general durable. I'll go back to general durable really quickly.
Right.
I get this question a lot too. Now, who do I appoint as my attorney in fact? The attorney in fact, my son's not an attorney. True, neither is your husband, right, or your wife, but maybe they are. But the person, the agent you appoint is called the attorney in fact. The document is simply the power of attorney document.
It's very commonly referred to as being
I'm the power of attorney. That's incorrect.
That's right.
You're the attorney in fact
for
the other person, right? As granted to you in the general durable power of attorney or the power of attorney. And I don't want her. So you're saying my daughter could go spend all the money in my account or sell my house, right? I get that question sometimes, and I say, well, we could draft it so that your daughter can't be the attorney in fact, the agent, unless you are incompetent or incapacitated. That's called a springing power of attorney. It only springs into being or into life if you are incapacitated or incompetent, and that's verified by one doctor, or you could put two doctors. I don't like that. Why would I might not like that? Why do you think I might not like that?
Well, I mean, everyone has various levels of trust in their family members, for one thing, and it might just as easily be a friend in some cases who handles things for you.
But why might I not like a springing power of attorney?
Why would you not like it? Well, you want it to be effective in all cases.
No. I'll tell you why. Okay? I would not like I say, would I ever advocate appointing someone as your attorney in fact, your agent to handle your financial benefits? Would I ever advocate for that if you didn't trust the person you're appointing?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. If you don't trust that person now, then what's going to happen if you become incapacitated or incompetent and now they're the attorney in fact? Now they're the agent. Are you just going to wait?
Giving them the key to the kingdom.
You're just going to wait until you're incompetent or incapacitated for them to run off with your money? Don't appoint that person, is my point. If you don't trust them, you don't trust them.
Yes.
So don't appoint them. Right?
That's
why I don't like those documents. I draft them. But I only after that lecture, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to draft a problem for somebody. And if somebody might run off with your money and you don't trust them, then don't appoint them. Ever. Not now or in the future. Right? And if you do trust them, then there's not going to be a problem with a regular general durable power of attorney that we record at the Register of Deeds that allows for someone you love and trust to care for you when you really need it, right?
That's right. And the same person that you trust on this document may not be the same person that you put as your attorney in fact on your healthcare power of attorney.
But it could be, and it
Yes, of
usually
course.
is. Yeah. But you could put somebody different. Yeah. So your healthcare power of attorney is an agent, is your healthcare agent, or your attorney in fact to handle healthcare issues. Okay? So the healthcare issues are, I mean, that's it's a huge deal. If I'm incapacitated, incompetent, in a coma, if I have an emergency and I'm just not conscious, I'm in shock in the emergency room, who's going to make my decisions?
Yeah, you better make sure.
Who's going to make my long-term care decisions? Sometimes you see the sister in Sacramento or the brother in Boise that fly in, that haven't seen mom or dad for 20 years, but all of a sudden have a totally different plan of care when they come into town because it's a tragic healthcare situation than the brothers and sisters that have been here, the sons and daughters that have been here, caring for mom or dad for the last 10 years, you know? And that makes things really hard. Who is the healthcare provider? The hospital, the home. Who are they supposed to listen to?
You've had people here already getting them to their appointments, know who the doctors are.
Knowing what mom and dad's wishes were.
That's exactly, you've probably heard them talk about it.
Then you got Mr. Guilty that comes in.
Yes. Mom can't die because I have not been able to see her and talk to her. And
Or whatever. I mean, there's just all kind of nightmare situations where things happen like that and the wrong decisions are made or no decisions made because somebody hasn't taken time to appoint a healthcare attorney in fact. Draft a healthcare power of attorney draft. Vacationing and healthcare directives, that's a section in here. That's important to think about what you're going to do when you go on vacation. How are you going to handle it? And if you get into a healthcare situation, who's going to make your healthcare decisions?
That's right.
So have it with you. We have a healthcare, we have something called eDocs Access that allows a senior and their families to have set up their own password. It's a bank level secure encrypted system that allows you to have access to your documents on your mobile phone, your smartphone, your laptop, your iPad, your desktop computer, anywhere you are, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even without the original, it makes it easy to send it around to a hospital, pull it up at a hospital, whatever you need.
Right, and the recording stamp will be there.
Oh, sure. We put the recorded
There-
version
there.
there, okay? And by the way, but no, not on a healthcare power of attorney because
No.
you don't record a healthcare power of attorney, okay? It's not a requirement. I guess you could, but it's not a requirement.
On the general durable power of attorney.
On things that
Has
need
to
to
be
be recorded.
recorded.
Yeah.
Well-
It doesn't have to be, but yeah, it doesn't have to be recorded.
In certain cases.
Nope. To survive incapacity or incompetency.
Durability.
So the durability clause is within the general durable power of attorney. That's the durability part. That's right. It allows for to survive incompetence, but it has to be recorded according to the statutes, Section 32A of North Carolina General Statutes. If someone becomes incompetent or incapacitated, it needs to be recorded. There's no requirement that it's recorded ahead of time. It can be recorded afterwards. It's my advice to go ahead and record it when you draft it, or after signing it, because when there's a tragic healthcare situation, you're not going to want to run around and worry about if something's going to be has been recorded or not. You just want it to work, is my thought, or my thoughts. We just want it to work when it needs to work. That's the reason. But it doesn't have to be recorded beforehand at all. But I advise my clients that way. Okay? There you
Do it while you can when it's easy and done and out of the way.
Well, it's just easy, coming out of the signing to get that done, So, living wills. And you said that earlier. Is it a living will? Does it have anything to do with living or being a will?
No.
No, it doesn't. What is it?
It is a document in which you declare how you want to, whether or not you want to be kept alive when you were unable to make the decision yourself.
Sure.
And speak your mind.
It's really, it's a declaration for a desire for a natural death, right? So, and I'm not a fan of form documents. I don't like form documents. Anybody can pencil in anything for you. I don't like that. Do you want the most important document, whether you live or die in a tragic healthcare situation, to be a fill-in-the-blank document? No, that's just, that's a no-brainer. Do you think that's a good idea?
Oh, no.
That's an absolutely horrible idea, okay? However, we do that at hospitals and everywhere all the time. That's not smart to have a fill-in-the-blank document.
You say we do it? Or a general public?
We as a people,
okay.
As a general population, and hospitals.
Well, they offer it to you.
They do.
Places.
And it's a fill-in-the-blank document that anybody could change, okay? And those aren't just necessarily confined to those specific trips to the hospital. They can be used in the future too, And they're legal in North Carolina. I don't like that. That's why ours aren't fill-in-the-blank documents. And they're written and signed and witnessed by two people and a notary, right?
Right.
And also, the healthcare power of attorney has a clause that states, look, there is a living will in place that was drafted along with this. However, the healthcare agent can trump the living will. So it's not a cold robotic document that says, pull the plug. If I'm terminal incurable brain death has occurred and I'm being maintained by artificial machinery. It's not that cold robotic document. There's a human element to it. The healthcare agent, the son, daughter, husband, wife, could come in, whoever you appoint, and say, look, I see something in Mom that you don't, Doc.
That was a personal situation.
We're going to wait a few days.
When my father was in the hospital, they did not see him before he got there, nor would they see him after he left. He is a fully functioning man. He does his online banking. He handles all of his business affairs. I took him yesterday shopping. He goes to Lowe's, buys the parts. When he goes into the hospital, he has his own little unique kind of dementia. He goes into a stage where he is incapable of communicating.
Right.
And the palliative care nurses come in and everybody thinks, well, pull the plug. But I know when we go in there, in a matter of 5 days, he's going to be released to rehab. And then he's going to get better, and then we're going to go shopping or do business. So, I want that for my father. I want to know that's in place for my father, that I can override what that may have said, and he does too.
Right, and if you have a form healthcare power of attorney and form living will, are they written that way where they work together?
Right.
No, they're not. They're just individual documents, right? I think those things are extremely important, especially in healthcare decisions in life and death situations. So sometimes we rely on form documents when we should not, especially for the most important things. And sometimes that same Depression era savings mentality that may have got you some money by saving is going to hurt you because you don't want to go out and spend a dime on legal needs, right? When you should invest in the best.
Well, there are times when bargains are bargains. There are times when bargains are not.
When you get what you pay for, right?
Yep, I ordered something from a catalog the other day. It was a terrible bargain. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that reminds me. I'll give you some examples.
Okay.
I love to get my wife a lot for Christmas, you know.
I know.
Who doesn't,
Packages
you know?
come here. Oh,
Yeah. So I ordered all this stuff off Amazon, but a lot of it was straight from China. Nothing is China. I'm just
I had
like the sizes that came in were wrong and different.
this big.
Plus they were the materials. I
You're
got her
talking
this
about me
jacket.
right now.
Got this bargain
Yes.
jacket that was awesome. And after she wore it one time, she made fun of it. Stephanie did. And
Well-
it had this belt thing, but the belt was so long that it wrapped around like 5 times. Right? It didn't even go really, and it was so long.
You
it wrapped
tied
around
to
like
the
5.
dog.
And so she laughed. She had a fun one, just a fun time trying this thing on.
Well,
right?
and the
I can't
return
remember the name of
address,
it.
you know, is
So then,
somewhere in China.
So then, like, there's these big buttons on it. Like, after a couple of times they popped off, then it popped off.
She wore it.
Yeah, yes, she worked them.
She loves you.
Oh, I got her a bunch of dresses and different things. Yeah,
Well,
there's
this
a
is-
whole bunch.
This is what I was
They
talking
come in these
about. I
plastic
ordered
bags,
clothes.
okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah,
there are various companies that I'm quite sure all come
Right.
from the same place. Same wrapping.
and you know what I should
similar
have done? I
names.
should have
What?
gone down the road and bought some, or gone to a good store in Charlotte and bought some stuff. Got some good quality stuff. I got what I paid for. Instead, my wife
Well,
had a
that
good
weren't
laugh.
cheap.
Had a good laugh. You
Yeah.
know. Anyway,
Oh, well.
I got her some good stuff for
live and learn.
Christmas too. Okay, but
Oh, yeah.
anyway, sometimes you
You're
get
a
what you
good
pay
Santa.
for. I am a good Santa. And then there's wills, okay, which I bag on wills a lot. I talk about wills are a horrible place to pass property because that's where liens attach. Like if you're on Medicaid for long-term care, for paying for assisted living or nursing home care, because you don't have long-term care insurance or enough assets to go to pay for that, all that. And then Medicaid has to come in and pay. When the house passes through the will, it gets sold to pay for a Medicaid lien. And the family's like, oh gosh, that's not fair. No, it is fair.
It's legally
It's legally how it works.
fair.
You just didn't know because you didn't ask, you know? And
The
everybody
amount of-
says, I've got a will, I'm fine, right?
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And before I came to work for you, I thought I've got my will, I've got my living will, which was a durable, whatever. I've got the healthcare power of attorney and my general durable power of attorney.
Right.
So I'm set, my kids are going to get the house, and they will if I still own it. But if I don't own it, because it's been absorbed into the Medicaid system to pay for some of my medical bills, if I have to go into some type of care situation, I don't own that house
So
anymore.
I'm
So
a
it's
big
gonna-
advocate of probate avoidance because of that. Setting things up, but simply by deplanning or otherwise, to pass outside of the will for that very reason. I talk about in here short sections on distribution of property and assets, dependent children, the executor. I talk about the executor and refer to that executor as the captain of the ship, or every ship needs a captain. And how the executor is still held and bound to the laws of the courts, the laws of North Carolina, and overseen everything the executor does, every transfer overseen by the court and the clerks. And it has to pass muster, that final accounting, for the clerks to cut it out. And the clerks are very strict, very good, especially here in Cleveland County, very good, right? And I devote an entire page there to how to avoid liens on your estate. Okay, how to avoid those. How to keep your estate private. Wills are public documents. Wills are probated and publicized in court. I used to see, more than you do now, people's estates posted in the paper. Like you'd see articles written about them and how much money somebody was worth and what's going through. That was news in the county. So if you want it private, you're going to have to look at deed planning. Would be public, but wouldn't pass through the will, so there's no really publicized part of it. Private, totally private, would be trust. Private trust are privatized. They're administered generally by a trustee or an attorney assisting the trustee in administering the trust. And I have a section talking about are wills still necessary? The answer is yes. A will is an insurance policy. That's what I see a will as, and that's what I believe a will is.
Now, when you say that's insurance against something that you haven't made other plans for, or maybe something without a fiduciary on it, or what am I?
A will is an insurance policy against, yes, something, that is after acquired, after you write the will, or maybe you haven't set up to pass outside of the estate. That's where it's an insurance policy, really. And that's why I call it that. It still is effective and has worked for a long time to pick property up and get it to the people where you want it to go. Only if liens attached to the estate can it force the sale of that property or spending of that cash, or to pay that lien.
Well, you provide
private or governmental lien.
You provide a document that you, with every will that you do, which allows people to write down their personal possessions, whether it's the grandfather clock, or the bracelet, or the ring.
It's called a memorandum, and it directs the executor within the will to follow that memorandum, okay? And to list, I've had clients go through and put yard sale stickers on the back of paintings and things, right? Saying, this goes to Greg, this goes to Sue, right? To the grandchildren or something, right? The children. But that's the same thing. We just compile that in a document that's attached to the will, right? So yes, so that's really nice for the little things and the specifics.
To a lot of people,
very
and especially older generations.
I think the legacy that we talk about is a lot of times the smaller stuff, the class ring or the medal you received in World War II or Vietnam.
Right.
Those are that's the important thing. The house is great too. That's a big deal. But think about the really sentimental stuff. It's the little things. It's the stuff and I have a specific place in the house where I have all my stuff from way back. Every once in a while I find myself looking through it or stumble upon it. And you just have to pause. Some of it takes your breath away. And I remember that. Or a letter.
Right.
Maybe a letter from somebody way back in the day. It means a lot. That's your legacy. Who's all the little things going to go to?
My father made my mother a harp. It's beautiful. He made me a Celtic harp, which is one about this high, but another 5-foot harp. And nobody could play it, but it was beautiful. And it was there in her living room. And I think that probably would be a point of contention if she hadn't already made arrangements. She didn't have it with a will because Italy had never had that opportunity. Because we never got her one.
Gotcha.
And there was kind of a reason for that too. But anyway, there may be some contention over that one thing.
Oh, it avoids contention too. That's key with estate planning is that's what you want to do. Sometimes a little money in the mix is like blood in the water to sharks among family members. And they go at each other fighting over small things. And we don't want that to happen. We never want that to happen. We want great families to stay happy. So, and that's one thing that clear estate planning can do. The importance of pre-planning. Okay? We talk about that. That's why. That's a section, and we already hit on that. That's the important pre-planning. Planning to save things. It costs less to pre-plan.
Yes.
Right? To do your foundational work. And then in an emergency situation, right? When oh man, it's time now.
Scramble.
We need to do this yesterday.
Let's put off everything. Here we go.
Shut down the firm and devote everything just to us, right?
We've been to nursing homes and hospitals. Sure. We will have done both this week.
So yeah.
So it's
and in this section we have we do that, but it's not as it's easier if we just pre-plan.
Well, it would have been easier for them too because they're forced because of an emergency to make on-the-spot decisions and not think things through and not talk to the kids.
Pre-need funeral plan. We talk about that. That's one way to avoid probate. To set aside money, even under the Medicaid rules for long-term care planning. Put $10,000, $15,000 in a pre-needs burial plan for someone. And we interviewed an expert who's longtime funeral home owner and director, Cecil Burton. And we have that interview right within the summary right within the book, talking about exactly what pre-needs burial planning is and how to do it. Okay, so that concludes chapter 2, right?
I know, it took us longer than I expected. This is one of the smallest chapters in the book, but each document has
So
a
much there.
personality.
There's
If
a
you
lot of meat there.
understand what it does and why, you won't understand the need for it, I think.
And, next week, next Monday at noon, we'll come to you with chapter 3. What is long-term care? What is long-term care? So we'll talk about, we use that term all the time, but do you really know what long-term care is? Do you really know the different types of long-term care? I don't know.
I didn't until I came to work for you.
But we'll talk about it, okay?
It's just always the nursing home.
True.
The nursing home. I didn't realize how much progress has been made toward keeping people in homes. So there are lots
Life
of little things
enrichment
like that.
centers.
Yeah.
In-home care.
Yeah. Lots of choices, and sometimes
So
you
that's
have
a
choice.
great part to talk about how to pay for it. Long-term care insurance, those types of things, right? So stay tuned next week at noon. We'll talk about chapter 3. And if you want to get a copy of the book so you can follow along with us over this 10-week discussion and of the 10-chapter book, Saving the Farm, Hayden, how will people do that? How can people get a copy of the book?
On Amazon, at our office. You've got an audio version and an enhanced audio version. Now, where can we get those?
So on Amazon, you can buy the print book, or you can buy the ebook Kindle, or you can buy the enhanced ebook, which has videos of interviews with experts and me explaining different concepts. You can also get that on iTunes. We'll have the audio book. Audible, which is Amazon's audio wing, will have the audio book. Audiobook is narrated by Curtis Rosser, which I like to say has a voice like butter. The voice like butter does a very good
You
job.
do voices so well.
He does a very good job narrating, okay? And he's a professional voiceover actor. I did not narrate that book. I have since narrated the book, but not that one.
Are we going to include chapter 4 with chapter 3? It's the interview.
Well, I think chapter 4 we're going to devote to a specific talk about Alzheimer's and dementia. We're going to go over that, okay? So that'll be 2 weeks from now. Will be chapter 4. So
I read that twice last night.
So you can
It's
also,
very interesting.
well, thank you. You can also contact our office, and Hayden or someone in the office will make sure that we mail you a copy of the book, or you can come by and pick it up, okay? And we have the print books in our office, or you can order those on Amazon.com. Or go to our website, mcelderlaw.com/savingthefarm, and that takes you right to the landing page for the book. You can order it right there. It also, for the audiobook, it has some forms in the book that are PDFs that you can download right there. Okay? So stay tuned next week. Yes,
Give the
ma'am.
telephone number?
Oh, sure.
704-259-7040. And if you want to talk further about something like this, or you would like to talk with Greg, just give us a call. We'll set that up.
Absolutely. And have a great day.
Thank you.